Ever pondered on the notion of embarking on a grand adventure? This is the tale of a young girl named Lily, who resided in a quaint little village. She was enamored with the idea of venturing into the unknown, exploring unseen places, and immersing herself in novel experiences. To her, life was less about the destination, and more about the journey itself. In the heart of the village, amid the humdrum of daily life, Lily would often find herself gazing into the distance. The mountain peaks tantalizingly hinted at what lay beyond. She would sit on her porch daydreaming about the unseen worlds that lay beyond the familiar hills. She imagined the thrill of exploring mysterious caves, the joy of discovering hidden waterfalls, and the excitement of encountering exotic creatures. These were not mere fantasies, but a profound longing for the unknown. It was a desire that went beyond curiosity, a yearning that echoed in her heart every time she looked at the horizon. Her life in the village was comfortable, but she yearned for something more. She yearned for adventure, for experiences that would take her breath away, and for stories that she could one day tell. Lily sat on her bed, surrounded by the various items she planned to take on her journey. There was a map of the surrounding area, a compass, a sturdy water bottle, some snacks, a small first aid kit, and most importantly, her grandmother's old binoculars. She carefully packed everything into her bag, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she stepped out of her home, she was met with the familiar faces of her family and friends. They had gathered to bid her goodbye. Her parents, with tears in their eyes, gave her a long and tight hug. Her younger brother handed her a small, handcrafted wooden charm for luck. Her friends gave her handwritten notes filled with well wishes and advice for her journey. The air was thick with a mix of sadness, worry, and excitement. Lily looked at them all, her heart swelling with love and gratitude. She took a deep breath, and with a final wave she turned towards the horizon. As she walked away, her heart was filled not with fear, but with the thrill of the unknown that lay ahead. As the silhouette of her home became a distant blur, Lily felt a pang of nostalgia. But the thrill of her journey was too strong, pushing her forward. She followed her instincts and the compass, leading her to a roaring river. With a deep breath and a firm grip on her bag, she took the plunge, swimming across the strong current. As she reached the other side, panting and soaked to the bone, she couldn't help but feel invigorated. That night, she set up camp under the stars, her heart pounding with the silence of the night. The chirping crickets and the rustling leaves became her lullaby as she lay awake, staring at the constellation-filled sky, her grandmother's binoculars by her side. The following day, she found herself in the company of fellow travelers. They shared stories of their adventures over a campfire, their faces illuminated by the warm glow. They spoke of the places they had been, the creatures they had encountered, and the lessons they had learned. Lily listened with rapt attention, her eyes sparkling with the promise of what awaited her. Each story, each encounter, was a step closer to discovering her own adventure. As the campfire crackled, Lily found herself drawn into the embers, her mind drifting back to her childhood. The voiceover kicks in. As a little girl, I was always curious, always seeking answers. My father used to say, "Lily, you have an adventurer's spirit." I guess he was right. A montage of flashbacks begins, showing a young Lily exploring her backyard, climbing trees, and staring at the stars through her grandmother's old binoculars. We see her in her room, surrounded by maps and books about distant lands, her eyes wide with wonder. The voiceover continues. Each place I visited, each person I met, helped me learn something new about the world, and about myself. The scene transitions back to the present, Lily staring into the fire, her expression thoughtful. She pulls out a worn-out diary from her bag, flipping it open to a fresh page. Today, I swam across a roaring river, set up camp under the stars, and shared stories with fellow travelers. I've learned that the world is vast and full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and that every step I take, every challenge I overcome, brings me closer to understanding who I am and what I want. She closes her diary, stowing it away in her bag, her gaze turning back to the fire, her face illuminated by its warm glow. Tomorrow I set out again, and who knows what adventures await. As the scene opens, we find Lily standing on the edge of a cliff, overlooking a vast, breathtaking landscape. The voiceover begins, "Every place has its own story, its own secrets. And I am just a traveler, passing through, trying to understand the tale." We see Lily marveling at towering waterfalls, exploring ancient ruins overgrown with nature, and standing in awe of majestic mountain ranges. She is seen observing unique wildlife, sketching in her diary, and interacting with diverse cultures. The voiceover continues. The world is a tapestry of wonders, woven with threads of culture, history, and natural beauty. Every thread I unravel reveals something new, something unexpected. We see Lily dancing with locals during a vibrant festival, tasting exotic foods, and learning traditional crafts. Her eyes sparkle with joy and curiosity. The voiceover concludes, "With each day I realize that my journey is more than just a quest for adventure. It's a voyage of self-discovery, a pilgrimage to understand the world and my place in it." As the scene ends, we see Lily gazing at the setting sun, a look of peace and contentment on her face. As our journey continues, we see Lily facing the harsh realities of her quest. She finds herself lost in a dense, gloomy forest. The voiceover begins. There are times when the path ahead seems unclear, when the forest of life engulfs us in its uncertainty. We see Lily studying her map, her brows furrowed in concentration. She takes a deep breath, choosing to trust her instincts. The voiceover continues. But it's in the face of adversity that we truly discover our strengths. We see Lily pushing through the dense undergrowth, creating her own path. Suddenly, a torrential downpour begins. Lily is seen hastily setting up a makeshift shelter, using her backpack to shield herself from the rain. The voiceover continues. There are storms that catch us off guard, that test our resilience. We see Lily, drenched and cold but still determined. She manages to start a fire using her survival skills. Her face is lit by the glow of the fire, reflecting her indomitable spirit. The voiceover concludes, "But even in the harshest storms, we find a way to keep the fire of hope burning." As the scene ends, we see Lily, wrapped in her blanket, gazing at the fire, a smile of triumph playing on her lips. As the storm subsides, Lily finds herself in the silence of the forest, the only sound being the crackling of the fire and the distant hoot of an owl. The voiceover begins. Sometimes, it's in the solitude of our journey that we uncover the deepest truths. We see Lily sitting by the fire, her gaze lost in the dancing flames. She reflects on her journey, the challenges she overcame, the strength she discovered in herself. The voiceover continues. In the silence of the forest, amidst the echoes of the storm, a realization dawns upon Lily. We see a close-up of Lily's face, her eyes wide with a newfound understanding. The voiceover deepens. She is not lost in the forest, she is found. Her journey is not about reaching a destination, but about understanding herself, about embracing the adventure that life is. As the voiceover concludes, we see Lily, her face glowing in the firelight, a serene smile playing on her lips. She stands, stretches her hands towards the sky as if embracing the universe. The scene ends with Lily, her silhouette against the fire, a symbol of her newfound wisdom and resolve. As the sun rises, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, we see Lily standing at the edge of her village. The voiceover begins. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and Lily is ready for her next 1,000. We see the villagers, surprised and curious, watching as Lily strides through the village, her head held high, her steps firm. The voiceover continues. She returns not as a lost wanderer, but as an explorer, a seeker of truth. We see Lily interacting with the villagers, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, her words painting vivid pictures of her adventures. The voiceover deepens. She shares her tales not to boast but to inspire, to ignite a spark of adventure in the hearts of her fellow villagers. We see the villagers, their faces lit up with awe and admiration, their hearts filled with a newfound respect for Lily. The voiceover concludes, and as she stands at the edge of her village, looking out into the horizon, Lily knows her journey is far from over. We see Lily, her silhouette against the rising sun, her face filled with determination and anticipation. The scene ends with Lily taking a deep breath, her eyes filled with a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and stepping out once again into the unknown, ready to embrace her next adventure. A day came when Lily could no longer resist the call of the unknown. She packed a bag with some snacks, a map, and a heart full of courage, and embarked on her adventure. Through dense forests she trekked, over towering hills she climbed, and across roaring rivers she traversed. On her path she crossed ways with fellow wanderers, sharing tales and experiences, adding to her wealth of knowledge. Of course, the journey was not always smooth. Lily lost her way from time to time, battled inclement weather, and grappled with fatigue. But her spirit remained undeterred. She recognized that each setback was merely a part of the grand adventure she sought. As the seasons changed and years rolled by, Lily bore witness to marvels that took her breath away, and met people who left indelible marks on her heart. She began to comprehend that life was not about the end of the road, but rather about the experiences gathered and memories created during the journey. A day arrived when Lily found herself standing atop a hill, her eyes gazing upon the village she once called home. A smile danced on her lips as she reminisced about the adventures she'd been on and the wisdom she'd gained. Although she was back at the starting point, she knew her journey was far from over. The world was vast and full of wonders waiting to be explored. Lily, brimming with anticipation, was ready to continue her adventure. She had learned that as long as she was willing to move forward, her journey would never truly end. This is the essence of life according to Lily, a never-ending adventure, filled with experiences to be had, lessons to be learned, and memories to be made.